So now that we know that this is working, we can hook this up with where we need slideshows. So the first place is here in our hero slideshow. So let's see if we can get the slideshow working with this. Now the critical parts here are that we have a container, and whatever class this is, we pass as a selector into jQuery. Now we haven't talked about how to use jQuery yet, and you don't really need to know much about it in order to do this. It should be clear that this is a CSS selector, and we can just change this if we're trying to apply this to a different element on the page to match with the CSS selector of that element. So we don't necessarily have to use this class. However, within this container, we're going to need an unordered list with the class of slides. And then our content will need to go into list items within that unordered list. Okay, so let's jump to this part of the HTML. It's slideshow. Okay, here we go. So now at this point, we only have one slide, and it's inside of a section wrapper here. So now section is probably the better HTML to use for this particular instance, but if we want to use Flexslider, we'll probably have to compromise. We can do some testing later to see if we can use a different element, but for now it sounds like we need to use an unordered list with list items. So we can use this slideshow div as our container, and then we need an unordered list with a class of slides. And let's end that list down here. And then we'll create a list item and put our content within that. So I'll just indent it and then add an ending list item tag. And let's just copy this. We don't have content for our other slides yet, so we'll have to create some dummy content. So I just copied this and I pasted it in here. And I'm going to change the title here so we know that we're looking at the second slide. Okay, I'll save this. And then I'll scroll up to the top in our JavaScript and I'll change this selector to slideshow. I'll save and refresh the page.